seconds. If that's action.
So today we're going to have a quick look at one of our Duun 370X processors. Here at Field & Forest we do the full range of Duun processors, or Duun, depending how you want to say it, ranging from the VM 320 through to the VM 450. The numbers that you see, they equate to the diameter of timber that the processor will take and will put through quite comfortably. So today we're looking at the 370X. Now there is the 370 and the 370X. 370X is very similar to the 370, however this offers you slightly more splitting power. This one gives you 8,500 kilograms of splitting force. So as it stands at the moment, this is it in its transport mode. PTO driven, so you would expect it to be on the rear of a tractor. The width it sits at the moment is 2.4 metres, which is handy for if you are working in various locations. It's easy to fold up. If you're travelling down the road, it's not overly wide that you have to worry about single track roads or passing traffic. You can do that quite comfortably. And at 2.4 metres on some tractors, it would be within the gauge of that tractor. So we'll have a little walk around it just briefly as it is. So here we'll go through these in a bit more depth, but here we have our sort of main control panel, which we'll show you once we get it opened up. As I say, most of the controls on this are hydraulic and proportional through the joystick. Again, we'll get a close-up of this just shortly. So coming round to the side where it connects to the actual tractor, as you can see, you have your PTO point here. Good thing with these machines is that you don't have to run at 540 RPM, which does help with economy and burning diesel. These are happy to run at 400, so again, you're not over revving the tractor. It's just really all the PTO is doing is going in there and powering a pump for the hydraulics. Have an oil cooler there, which is good if you are working it all day long. Just keeps your hydraulic oil nice and cool, saves you any overheating issues. As you can see here, we've got our 3-point linkage points. Underneath there is eyes for lifting it with forks as well. This cable here is normally a D plug, they come as standard. It does take an electronic feed of 12 volts. The reason being is that in these hoods and things there is sensors, which when you lift the hood, it stops the machine completely as a safety mechanism. This just prevents you being able to go in there with any moving parts, any danger of the saw bar coming down. So they have thought about safety when they've been building these machines. This can be converted over to the likes of a lighting socket on the back of your tractor if you don't particularly have a D-plug connection. There's various ways that you can take the 12-volt feed, which makes it handy. And again, quite a common one is the trailer socket. Plug it into your trailer socket on your tractor, and that's you've got power at your Firewood processor. Hydraulic tank is here with a gauge on the side. Just lets you keep an eye on how much oil you've got. And obviously, you need to make sure that that's up to, it's got enough in it to keep the pressure through the system and keep the processor working as it should. Going back to the 12-volt feed, if we go back around the front of the machine, you can see inside there is an electronic control unit in here, which that will tell you if you've got any electrical faults. It'll flag up and let you know if there is an electrical feed problem. Additionally, it keeps track of things like hours, hours of use, etc. As you can see here, we have the safety hood which ties into the electronic system. There is a switch in there. Now, when that's down, the switch will make, which allows the current flow, allows everything to work on the processor. If you open that, it breaks the circuit. The system knows, do not let anything operate because it's unsafe. And you can go in here if you need to clear anything or do any maintenance or anything with that up. That safety feature just protects you, make sure you're okay. On this side of the controls here, we do have a couple of gauges that you can see. So this top one here, that actually controls how much pressure, hydraulic pressure is going on the saw bar. So if it's too strong, you can slow it down. If you need a bit more pressure to get through the timber, you can adjust it, just get it set the way you want. And then next to that as well, we have it's got a double mechanism on it for locking it off, but this is to control your outfeed conveyor. So if you're getting through timber quite quickly and you need to keep it moving, you can speed the conveyor up. If you need to slow it down, vice versa, you just do it the other way. So as you can see now, we've got the processor unfolded in its operational position. This is the in-feed conveyor. Now, ordinarily you would have your log loaded onto here, and then from the controls you can control this belt in and out, which allows you to take the log in at the pace you want, and also reverse it as well. So if you have any issues and you need to get the log back out, you can do that through the proportional controls. These rollers are removable depending on what timber and what way you're feeding the machine. These will come off and you can put them elsewhere if you need, for any reason you need to do that. This does have a mechanical log clamp on it. You can see there, this is the, this just keeps the pressure on the log as it comes through against your adjustable bump stop. So the adjustable bump stop, you can move that, and what that determines is the length of your log. So the diameter may vary up to 370 mil. And this one, you've got the option to have the length of the log at 200 mil through to 500 mil, depending on what size you need and what product you're looking to produce. As you can also see, that any hard sort of wearing parts that are in here, you know, where it take the high impact areas, the splitting chamber and such like, are made of strength steel, just to give it that extra strength and a bit more durability. So you know that when you buy one of these, you've got the longevity of the machine, and it's going to perform for you for many years to come. In here as well, we have our splitting chamber. So as you can imagine, the log comes in, it hits the bump stop, the saw bar here comes down, makes the cut at the desired length. The log rolls into here. This here is the splitting ram, which you can deploy again through the proportional controls. It pushes it along through the splitter. There's a debris grate on the bottom there, which lets any smaller bits that you don't want fall through. That powers up the conveyor there and off into where you want to store it, whether it be an IBC, bags, whatever it might be, a trailer. The outfeed conveyor is chain driven, and this is adjustable here. You can actually have it in 3 different positions, so you can offset it sort of to the left, to the centre and to the right. This allows you to have maybe 3 IBCs, for example, or 3 boxes without having to constantly, you know, it lets you fill at least 3 units before having to move them to create more space and get more storage in. This is obviously the winch for the height on it as well, so you can adjust that manually to whatever height you desire. You may also, as another option, you can put this through up to a log cleaner, which would then clean the log before it processes it and puts it into your storage. The splitting knife itself, on this one we have a 6-way splitting knife. This is hydraulically adjustable height-wise. So again, if you want to, depending on the size of the timber you're putting through it, you can adjust that through your proportional controls here, up and down. And it's also, you can interchange them, so you can get a 4-way, 6 and 8 for this machine. It's easily changeable, just on the other side underneath there. It's just a pin that holds that in. You take the pin out, lift it out, put your new knife in, secure it again. Looking at the controls themselves, this is the lever on your left here. This is for your splitting knife. So nice and simple, up, lifts it up, down, pulls it back down. Set that whatever way you desire. This is your proportional for feeding in, deploying your saw bar and activating the split. So left and right, that controls your in-feed conveyor. Again, along with your mechanical control on your log clamp. So you bring your log in, you clamp it with your mechanical clamp, it hits the bump stop to the desired length. You then pull your lever down the way, this deploys the saw bar, makes your cut. Off you go, it falls into the splitting chamber to then split the timber, push that the other way, it'll deploy that, put it through the splitting knife, and then off your logs go. Another function that the processor has is, if we look down here, you'll see that it has a hydraulic circuit here. Now, this is just sort of piped back into itself at the moment. But you can do this as your feed for your log deck, should you wish to have one on the far side of the processor. This allows you to sort of stack timber up, and then it will work in conjunction with the in-feed. If you have powered rollers on your log deck, it will work in conjunction with the in-feed belt here. So if you want to pull timber in, the log deck will also turn in sync with that. And similarly, if you need to reverse it for any reason, the log deck will take it back and the rollers will work in correspondence with that. So that was a quick run through of our 370X Duun Firewood Processor. As I said before, we do have full range from the VM 320 right through to the 450. If you need any more information on these processors, please don't hesitate to contact a member of the team, and we're more than happy to help.